the valuable jewel to us. Of course, this is a layman's language. The word jewel we use in layman's language for us to value the highest, most precious, valuable thing to us, because these things are unchangeable. All the other valuable things that we collect, accumulate, changeable. We miss, we lose, create unhappiness. But this kind of pressures never disappear. Here never disappear, but not the physical body. The qualities and the virtues and the wisdom and perfections never disappear. That is why still we bow down, we respect, we honor, because they have achieved that highest supreme state. Then, by this truth, may there be happiness. How can this truth give happiness? Usually we use another word for it. Get a blessing by the grace or by the virtue of this truth. May I be well or happy or get blessing. This is our worldly way of aspiration. But this is in the higher sense. By the truth of this will be happiness. There be happiness. What is this happiness that we are talking? Can you tell me what is this happiness? Do we experience happiness in our life? Is there anybody who experiences happiness? I never experienced happiness. What is meaning of happiness here? Contentment is one aspect, only one item. We misinterpret this word happiness. The emotional satisfaction, worldly pleasure or sensual pleasure, we introduce as happiness. There is no happiness. The emotional satisfaction that we experience as human beings is changeable. Today we experience satisfaction at this moment. Next moment, the same thing which satisfies us creates problems and worries. This is the nature of emotional satisfaction. So it is not happiness. Then let us take sensual pleasure. We try to indulge, please, all the five senses. So when we catch certain objects through one of these senses, if that object can satisfy that particular sense, either eyes or ears or the mouth or the body or the nose, we take this as happiness. It is not happiness. Because that object which gives some sort of satisfaction at that moment, we may lose it next moment, then create more worries. If not turn the other way around, to create more problems, more worries, more unhappiness. Take a very simple example. A young man or a young girl have been longing, praying for a long time to get married, to experience happiness. In spite of various objections and troubles and problems, they could manage to get married, settle down, thinking that they can experience real happiness in their life. And after 1 or 2 years' time, or 3 or 4 years' time, I think, they start their battle. Then almost every day, grumbling, fighting, developing jealousy, enmity, suspicion, separation. Then where is that happiness? That emotional satisfaction in return created a lot of disturbance. This is the nature of worldly happiness. But you are ready to face it, because you need that satisfaction. So Buddhism never says you should not get married or this. No, it is up to you. And at the same time, must have courage to face all the problems that we had to come across. Now we can understand the nature of pleasure, sensual pleasure or worldly. No happiness. That's why I wanted to clarify this word happiness. Experience happiness, mind must be free from these evil forces. So now we cannot experience this happiness because our minds are clouded with many of these things. Fear. Then where is happiness? By collecting money and jewelry and valuable things, there is no happiness. Fear. And the life also in danger. It is not happiness. When the mind is free from all these things, the real happiness. Peace, calmness, happiness, satisfaction in our life we experience after reaching that. That is what here mentioned. By this truth, may there be happiness. Let us experience this happiness. Let us follow them. But we never analyze in this way when we recite all these things. You think by the virtues of this truth, may I get more money, may I get more long life and this and that. This is our worldly way of thinking. But we have to go further, beyond that. We could manage to complete at least one stanza. I don't know how long it will take for me to finish Ratana Sutta. I think this Paritta chanting book, I don't think even my lifetime that I will be able to complete this Paritta chanting. So if you can extend my life for another 20 to 30 years, then I can finish this Patita chanting. That's what that Dr. Rhys David, the founder of Pali Text Society, has mentioned in his book. 100 years ago he has started the society to translate Buddhist book into English. So when he was very old, he could not complete even quarter. His wife also supported him. He said, he has written there, if there is anybody in this world who can extend my life, every minute use only for this, translating this Buddhist book into English, because I know how to value it. Yasinda Silo Patharin Sitosya Yatubhi Swadeti Asampatantiya Tathupamang Sapurisan Vadan Yo Arya Sajjani Avishya Pasati. How many of you can recite this one? English word came from your childhood. You have started, there's no difficulty, otherwise it's the same problem. English also there are very long words. The meaning, just as a firm post sunk in the earth cannot be shaken by the four winds, even so do I declare him to be a righteous person who thoroughly perceives the noble truth. Verily, in the Sangha is this precious jewel. By this truth may there be happiness. Just as a firm post or pillar or stone sunk in the earth cannot be shaken by the four winds. What are the four kinds of winds? What are the four kinds of winds? Wind is wind, that's all. Four directions. Blow from the four directions. Even so do I declare him to be a righteous person who thoroughly perceives the noble truth. So, the meaning is this. When a person realizes the real meaning of Four Noble Truths, that person is just like that very firm post, very hard, like a stone. And wind cannot shake. The wind blows from the four directions, but this one is unshakable. That means after this realization, our understanding about our life and changes, various incidents, ups and downs, and likes and dislikes. We always create enormous worries and miseries and disturbances in our mind due to lack of this understanding. So our minds are very shaky. Our understanding is very poor. We have knowledge, but that knowledge has not strengthened our mind to stand firm. That means to face all the existing worldly problems, human problems, natural problems. So almost every minute we are facing certain problems. There is no life in this world can maintain without facing any problem. Then who create these problems? External forces create disturbances, but we create problems in our mind. We know how to face them because certain things we have to face, no other choice. Certain things we can overcome. Certain things we can avoid. Certain things we can challenge. And we can stop if we can understand. That is why religious knowledge is important. By knowing the nature of our life, the nature of the world and worldly conditions, if we can adjust our way of life, we can minimize and avoid and maintain some sort of satisfaction in our life. Otherwise, throughout our life, almost every day, we create endless problems. Outsiders cannot create problems in our mind. Just now I told you. They can create disturbances. Human beings, animals, or with visible or invisible living beings, and the nature and many other worldly conditions create disturbances. But those who know or those who can understand this situation can face. So the Buddha's advice is simply by praying to anybody in this world, it is impossible for you to avoid, to stop, overcome these problems. Just for your own satisfaction, you do that. You create some sort of confidence in you, create some hope, thinking, oh, I have prayed, I have performed these religious rites and ceremonies. That is for your own satisfaction. But that is not the solution, as mentioned by the Buddha. His advice is to face certain things because they are unavoidable. No one can stop. Like our sicknesses, old age and family problems and death, these are unavoidable. We have to face them. But because of these problems, we should not create further problems to stop or to overcome. That is the biggest mistake that we are doing. When you are very angry, due to certain disturbances, then you create another big problem because of your anger. After that, it will take a long time for you to get rid of that problem. To get rid of that one, then you have to create another one. There is no end. Those who know how to face this problem, this understanding is important. The Four Noble Truths we always discuss. Even then, I think still there are few who are not very sure what these Four Noble Truths are. Can you tell me what are those four? Now, what is the first one? Don't use the book language. I want to know your understanding. What is the first one? What is the first one? I ask you not to mention the book language. This is also book language. Give your own commentary. Then I can understand how far you have realized. Pardon? Always problem. Endless problem. Right? Not bad. Physically and mentally, internally, externally. Elaborate further. Always problem. Right? For that, it is suffering or unsatisfactory. So, in simple language, you can use it. Why are we not happy with our life? Are you happy with your life? Yes, now. Now you can laugh, you can show a smiling face, but when you go home or on the way, can you maintain the same smiling face like this? The mood, attitude, circumstances change your mind. That means your mind is very sick. Any moment you can change your mind. But others cannot change your mind. Others can create lots of problems. If your mind is very stable, very strong, others cannot disturb. So the religious knowledge is important for us to maintain that. So here the wind which blows from all directions cannot disturb this particular force. It is very firm. So we had to cultivate our mind by knowing the nature of our mind. But do you know the nature of your own mind? How it look like? We cannot understand the nature of our own mind. Very difficult. Because the mind is going on changing according to circumstances. Ideas, thoughts, concepts, beliefs, imaginations are going on creating. And all these things change our mental attitude. And religion also. Those who have accepted religion through their faith, without analyzing, without investigating, without thinking properly, and such belief or faith are changeable at any time. That is how people change their faith from time to time according to their convenience or personal benefit or emotional satisfaction or for something else. That means the religion that they have maintained so far have not analyzed, not realized the nature of that thing. So the ideas also, your belief, your concept regarding various other subjects also going on changing. That is the nature of our mind. That is why we cannot fix our mind to do something without change. It's very difficult. We know so many things are bad. Even then, we have no courage to stop it. Mental attitude. Certain things are very good, very important. We determine to do and continue, but later change. So there are so many other factors to influence the mind to create these things, especially our emotional feelings. So when this emotion and devotion join together, at once we believe something. But no analytical knowledge, no realization or understanding. Only emotion and devotion. Then develop faith. That is why religion is called faith. Religion is based on faith. It is very difficult to analyze religious belief. How to analyze the belief? Mostly our imagination. It's not a wrong concept, wrong identity, misinterpretation. These things contribute for us to develop something as our faith. Those who have accepted this faith and belief very strongly become fanatics. They never change, never give up such belief, whether they are right or wrong under any circumstance. One-track mind. So Buddhism never encouraged this kind of belief at once. Not to accept anything in the name of religion, especially in religion, as truth or facts or reality. Because difficult to understand at once. We create our own imagination. That's why we maintain some sort of very shaky, very uncertain mental attitude. To strengthen this mind, to straighten this mental energy, we have to work very hard. Because another person with a supernatural being or any other internal or external forces cannot cleanse or cannot purify, cannot straighten our mind. Take for example, If you are very cruel or jealous or greedy, do you think there is anybody in this world who can change your mind? To withdraw or take away this from your mind? Do you think God can do that? The Buddha can do that? Impossible. You can go pray to the Buddha, oh God, please help me. I am very cruel. I am very jealous. I am very greedy. I want to get rid of you. Please take away my evil forces. Do you think they can do that? So far we have never met even single human being. But there is one thing. When you go and express or reveal your problem, you admit you are cruel and jealous, and that is a good attitude. But some others are not ready to admit that. They justify. We are not like that. There's nothing wrong with that. But you believe that it is wrong. You use your effort to get rid of this, but adopted the wrong attitude, asking somebody else to take away this from you. It doesn't work. And taking away your sins also exactly like this. Another person cannot take away your sins, because sins were committed by your mind. I have told you, if you want to get rid of them, you can do that. Another person cannot. So, the Buddha's advice is this. First, you must admit, you must understand your own weakness. Don't try to justify. Nothing wrong. They never get the chance to develop their mind. You know the well-known saying in Dhammananda? What is that? Yo balo manyati balyam pandito chapitenaso balo cha panditamani save balo. Is there anyone who can give me the English translation? Because you are used to these sayings now. What is the meaning of it? Right? Cannot catch. No, not that one. This is another one. A fool who knows that he is a fool. Now you see, isn't it? A fool who knows that he is a fool, the Buddha says he is a wise man. A fool who does not know that he is a fool is a real fool. That means we have to admit our weakness. If we can understand our weaknesses, then we get the chance to adjust, to correct our mistakes. Some people make mistakes, then others point it out. They try to justify, there's nothing wrong. And that attitude is wrong, because they mislead others. Admit. Say, yes, I know it is wrong, but it is very difficult for me to give up this habit. Then you never mislead others. I try, you can tell him, I try not to repeat. If you can maintain that attitude, that means we get the chance to get rid of this treatment one day. So the mind is responsible for our problem. If you know how to face your family problem without fighting, quarreling, creating very bad atmosphere at home, without showing your sour face always, then you can overcome certain problems. You can, without aggravating the situation, you can calm the situation. Then, to avoid certain mental disturbances, we must have a lot of patience in our mind. Our understanding and patience are very important. Patience does not mean, or tolerance and patience, just to keep quiet without saying anything or without doing anything. A culprit who has violated, committed a lot of mistakes, also can keep quiet without doing anything or without saying anything, just keep quiet. So that is not patience or tolerance or understanding, because he is powerless at that stage to say anything or to do anything. Patience means not to create evil mental attitude at that time, such as our jealousy or anger or greed at that time in our mind. Then we tolerate. We tolerate certain things when we cannot do anything. That is not tolerance. Two things in the battlefield, in those days, you used the sword, no guns at that time, riding elephants. When they were fighting, attacking each other, the sword fell down from the hand of one king. Now he had no weapon to attack. And the other king had the opportunity to attack him, that's right. Then he told him, get down, pick your sword, go down. Again come and fight. That is a gentle fight. This is the way how they fought. Today, hit and run. No gentle fight. In the battlefield also there is gentleness. There are principles. So the patience, tolerance, understanding, gentleness are no more in the human mind. Always crookedness, cunningness, selfishness, they are. So by praying to anybody, do you think you can experience peace here on this earth? So the man's mental attitude is responsible for it. Here, this saying of the book. Those who can understand the nature of Four Noble Truths can stand firmly without creating any disturbances in the mind, without creating undue worries and miseries in the mind. First one you realize, that we are not happy with our life, always complain. Everybody complain, grumble, criticize. Something is wrong somewhere. Then the next one, what is the next one? Second truth. If something is wrong somewhere, and what is that? That is the cause. Try to find out where that mistake is, or who is responsible. Whether the man is responsible, or God is responsible, or devil is responsible, or somebody else. To find out the cause. Try to find out this cause. What is this cause? So who creates all these problems? Devils, isn't it? Let us refer to Dhammapada again. Tanhaya jayati soko, tanhaya jayati bhayam, tanhaya vippamuttasya, natti soko, vippo bhayam. What a beautiful saying from the Now there, the culprit is there, found out. Who create all these problems in this world? Who is that? Our own craving, our selfish desire create all these problems in this world. Tanhaya jayati soko. Soka means worries. Worries are created by our own craving. If there is no craving in our mind, we never create worry. Completely free from worry. Worries, fear, tension, all these things appear in the mind because of craving. So according to your own experience, you can understand. Tanhaya jayati bhaya, fear. Why do we maintain fear? People say we are scared. Scared of what? Scared of devils, ghosts, or spirits, animals, or some others. Why do we develop this fear? Is it not due to our craving for something? I told you, there are two persons in this world who never maintain fear in their mind. For no cause, no reason for them to maintain that fear. The Buddhas and Arahants. Because craving is completely eradicated. There is no reason to create fear. It never appears in their mind. Tanhaya jayati soko, tanhaya jayati, tanhaya vippamuttasya. When that craving is no more in that mind, natti soko, no worry, kutto bhaya, very clear. That is the fact. We can give more than thousands of other reasons, other causes. But in the end, it comes back to the same craving. That is the final analysis. But even then, we are not ready to give up. So what we have to do is, by knowing this situation, we must try to reduce this craving as much as possible. So remember, you are not at liberty to experience worldly pleasures at free of charge. You have to pay the price. So if you want to enjoy, you have to pay in terms of your worries and miseries and disturbances and fear and suspicions and anger and jealousy and grudge and enmity. Then create hell of a trouble and grumble. You say you want to enjoy. Enjoy and see whether you will be free from all these problems. This is called, my dear friend, ignorance. Our ignorance clouded our mind, deluded, and we are bound to this worldly life to suffer like this because of that ignorance. So when you develop this understanding, Four Noble Truths, no more illusions or delusions, hallucinations, imaginations, selfish desire in our mind, then complete freedom. Now you can understand why the Buddha has said, those who can understand this Four Noble Truths, how strong, how pure their minds are, no one can disturb them. You know, so many stories. One day, Sariputta, the chief disciple of the Buddha, when he was going somewhere, one Brahmins were against the Buddha and his teaching because the Buddha has pointed out so many weaknesses in their way of practicing his religion. So this Brahmin, he was so angry, he went on scolding, using all the dirty, wicked, vulgar words, abusive language. But he did not see any changes or any emotion in Venerable Sariputta. It was very normal, very serene, very cheerful, no changes. He was so angry when he asked, "Did you hear what I tell you just now?" Then Sariputta said, "No, I didn't hear anything." "You didn't hear that I scolded you?" "No, I didn't hear anything." Because he did not pay attention towards his scolding. His mind is pure. So no one can disturb his mind. That is why here the mind is unchangeable. How many times people come and scold the Buddha like this? But he has given some parables and taught them to enlighten them, not to behave like this. Never shows his anger. Because there is no anger in his mind, how to show it? So in our case, it will take a long time for us to cultivate, but even then this understanding is important for us. Occasionally, if not always, that we will be able to reduce our anger, our jealousy, our greed, our crazy attitude, to maintain some sort of contentment in our life. Then here, so when you compare their way of life or those holy Arahantas and Sangha, by the virtues of being there be happiness, blessing. Next one. One stanza, nearly 1 hour. Ye ariya satchani vibhavayanti gambhira panyena sudesitani kinchapi te honti busappamatta nate bhavang attamang adiyanti dampi sanghe ratanang panisang etena sattena suvacchyo. Those who comprehend clearly the noble truths, well taught by him of wisdom deep, do not, however, exceeding heedless they may be, undergo an 8th birth. Verily in the Sangha is the precious gift. This one is not very difficult to understand. Those who have realized. Now we have only knowledge, no realization in our mind. We have knowledge, I have knowledge, but complete realization is not yet. So, those who have realized these Four Noble Truths attain the first stage of sainthood. What is the first stage of sainthood? Called Sotapanna. Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arahanta, only 4. After attaining this first stage of Sotapanna, then rebirth, existence again and again, never take place more than 7 times. No more 8 births for that person. Before that, stop. Because craving, attachment, selfishness, so many forces in the mind which create this life again and again have already reduced. Since he has not completed, still rebirth can take place up to 7. But after that, no. Somehow or the other, there will be an end to it. Before that, he attained the highest one, Arahant. Then another advantage, after attaining the first stage of sainthood, there is guarantee that rebirth never takes place in any unfortunate state. But at the moment there is no guarantee, because our mind is changing. That means rebirth never takes place, although few more times rebirth can take place. Never take place animals, free from them, or so-called hell, or ghost, or any kind of unfortunate spirits. Narata, Tirachina, Preta, Asura. These are the 4. So rebirth can take place again either as a human being or one of the Deva. That's all. Free from that uncertainty of our rebirth. So, although we have done a lot of meritorious deeds to be born as human beings again or to go to heaven, but still, so many hidden bad karmas submerged in our subconscious mind. Under certain circumstances, one of these bad karmas may get the chance to come to them. The rebirth can take place according to one of these things, although we have so many other good karmas. This is the uncertainty of our mental attitude. At the dying moment, due to certain circumstances, we may get angry before our death, although we maintain peace and calm or happiness in our mind, due to certain either jealousy or anger we develop in the mind, then completely spoil the mental attitude, change the other way around. But in their case, it is impossible to stir their mind, to change their mental attitude, because they have unshakable mind. So until we attain the first stage of sainthood, there is no guarantee, but chances are there for us if we have more good karmas, weighty karmas, heavy karmas. It is not necessary to have 7 more births. Before that, this person may attain the higher state, either within that lifetime or next birth. It depends on the purity of the mind, how far he has cultivated and developed his mind, and what are the qualities or the qualification for a person to attain the first stage of sainthood, Sotapan. How many things are there? 3. We had to unload this thing that we have been keeping in our mind for a long period. What are those 3? Sakkaya Ditthi, Vicikiccha, Silabbata Parama. These are the 3. Not so easy, especially first one. Sakkaya Ditthi. Self-illusion. Very difficult. The belief that we maintain that there is a self, a permanent entity, which can remain either in heaven or hell or somewhere else. It is our illusion. We have to get rid of that. That is the first qualification. Second one, what sort of doubts? We have doubts. What sort of doubts? Skeptical doubts, not ordinary doubts. So we have so many kind of doubts regarding this world and life and this and not. A skeptical doubt means, now take for instance this Four Noble Truths. You heard.